So the first exercise that we're going to be doing is a press up against the wall. With a press up against the wall, the more upright you are, the easier it will be. The more you start to go down in the traditional press up position, the harder it's going to be. So for this one, I'm just going to be using my stairs because I don't have access for the video to a wall, for example. However, the same principle, when you go down into the press up position, you want to try and keep your arms a little bit close to your body. More traditional press ups, you see people going up here, but the minute you're up in this 90-degree position, you're more likely to then go into shoulder impingement, resulting in injuries. So do yourself a favour and just keep it a little bit closer to your body. You'll find that A, it's harder, but B, you're less likely to get injuries from it. So, hands on the wall, and you're just going to go down into this press up position and push back up, down into press up position, push back up, down again, and push back up. As I say, to make it harder, you may then want to use the arm on the sofa, or you may actually want to just go onto the floor and start doing kneeling press ups or full press ups. The next exercise that you're going to do is grab one of your weights that you've got access to, and from here you just need something you can lean against just for a bit of assistance. So I'm going to be using my staircase. I'm just going to go into this nice flat back position so I'm not curving over, and then from there I'm just going to pull the weight back up towards me and slowly lower it down. It should be nice and controlled, nice and focused. Again, 13 to 15 repetitions. What you can do to adapt this exercise as well is change the position of your hands. So if you go into that position, it's going to be working a different part of the back of your shoulder. If you go into that position, it's going to be working a bit more on the bicep and a bit more on the lat. But as a starting point, just focus on this neutral grip and just pull up towards you, 13 to 15 repetitions. Next exercise that we're going to be doing is seated overhead press. So the starting position of this is nice and upright in your posture. You're going to take your weight above your head, and the initial position for this is keeping your hand in getting this neutral position so that your palm is facing your face, and you're just going to nice and gently push upwards and come back down, making sure that as you push you're not leaning too much to the side, you're keeping this really strong core, this really strong position, and you stay nice and straight. If you want to make it slightly harder, turn your hand outwards and then push up through that position there, just so that your arms go straight above your head, and that's going to then be working these big trap muscles in the back of your shoulders. The next exercise that we're going to be doing is the bicep curl, which people do tend to love. So again, grabbing my 4 kg kettlebell, I'm going to keep my arm nice and close into my side, keeping my hand in this neutral position so that my palm is facing towards you guys, facing the camera, and then just nice and slowly, nice and controlled, bring the weight up towards my chest, bending my elbow. What I tend to do when I'm doing these exercises is put one hand onto my core just so I can make sure that everything is staying strong, and you're making sure that it comes from your arm and that you're not using your back to do the movement, which is a really common mistake that you see a lot in the gym. So really strong core, make sure it comes straight through the arm and it's not coming through your back. Exercise number 5 is going to be the tricep kickback. So again, you're going to find something you can use for a bit of support, so whether it's a chair, whether it's the kitchen surface, or again I'm just going to be using the staircase. Nice straight back as you lean forward just for a bit of support, and then you're going to be keeping your hand in this neutral position, palm facing you, and then just straightening your arm as far as you can, and what you should feel is this tension right in the back of your arm as you do push yourself to that end range of motion. And then nice and controlled, nice and slowly, bring it back. What I don't want to see with this exercise is you twisting as you're doing it, and I also want to see that it's controlled and it's not just a case of going through the movements. You're going to find it's a lot more accurate, a lot more specific, and a lot more effective if you could do it nice and controlled, nice and slowly. So, next exercise is going to be shrugs. With shrugs, I want you to be using a backwards pattern. So you're going to be bringing your shoulders upwards and then rolling backwards. Do use a weight because it's going to make it slightly harder, but if it's too difficult with the weight, then you can just do it body weight and just go through the movement. But this is more mobilization than it is muscle activation, muscle strength. So, for the shrugs, you're going backwards because you're trying to target the muscles in your back. Most people have this forward posture, this upper cross posture, and because of that, they've already got so much strength going through the front of the shoulders. We want to target the opposite to really try and focus on posture. I'm going to be bringing your arms backwards. Repeat this again 13 to 15 times as with all the other exercises, and then move on to the next exercise, which the final one for this session is seated rotations. So again, find that stool, find that seat, take a nice strong core, you're going to have the weight out in front of you, The closer it is to your chest, the easier. The further away from you, the harder. Keep it nice and close to start with. And then you're just going to twist from one side to the other side, and back, and back. 13 to 15 repetitions on both sides for this exercise. Once you get to the end, give yourself about 2 minutes of rest and then go through the routine again. This can be made significantly more difficult through a number of things. So the first one is changing the tempo of the exercise. So rather than doing bicep curl and down, you'll be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The slower you do the exercise, the harder it's going to be. The other thing is making sure you've got this mind-body connection. So as opposed to just doing the exercise, kind of being vaguely aware of what you're working, really think about the muscle that you are trying to activate. So again, with the bicep, you are very much thinking about the fact that you are contracting through the front of your arm here. And the more you do this mindfulness, the more effective the exercise is going to be, but also the less injury risk you're going to have because you are focusing on your form and you're not just focusing on making it harder. Finally, the other thing that obviously you can do just to make it more difficult is change the weight up. If you change the weight up, do be careful of your form. It's not uncommon for people to think they're doing the exercise correctly, but actually the form is appalling, and that's where injuries do come in. So please take care. The next exercise video that we're going to be doing is focused on the core, again for the slightly more mature of generations or for those that are new to exercise.